McDonald, I don't know.
Today on Robb's Garage, we're replacing rod bearings on the E92 M3. Welcome back to Robb's Garage. I'm Robb, this here's the garage. Before we get started with today's topic, I'm going to give a shout out to my son. He just graduated from basic military training in the United States Air Force. Simultaneously, he's an engineering student at a major university. So big shout out to him for serving our country. Thank you very much, son. Today's topic, connecting rod bearings for BMW M3s. Everybody says you've got to replace these connecting rod bearings before you hit 80,000 miles. So they say. Nobody else has ever worked on this car unless it was an alignment, tires, or some warranty repairs that the dealership did. Other than that, I've done everything on this car myself. Maintenance, repairs, upgrades, you name it. I looked at the job, I realized I've got all the equipment. I think I could do this myself. I have taken engines apart before, but I'm no expert. And then what made me change my mind about doing it myself, in December, I saw a guy with another E92 M3 who blew his motor. And it turns out it was a connecting rod bearing. Have you replaced them? He said, yeah, I just did it myself. So I backed off and I said, I'm gonna leave this one to the experts. I actually took the car to European Auto Source in Anaheim, California. They replaced the connecting rod bearings for me. Thank you very much, guys. Huge shout out to TJ there. The guy is awesome. He's a fellow racer. He knows what the hell he's doing. Guys, take a look. These things are fantastic, okay? So check that out. That's got a little bit of wear. Okay, the fourth connecting rod, it's got some wear and tear there, but look at these. I mean, that's great. Everybody says you need to replace these by 80,000 miles. I had 79,000 some change on it. The level of wear or lack of wear that you're seeing on these connecting rod bearings, I think, is a testament to two things. Number one, I change the oil in this thing. Used to be every 7,500 miles, but since I've been tracking it, about every 5,000 miles. And number two, I religiously let the engine warm up. Now you'll hear differences of opinion out there on the internet about whether or not you need to let an engine warm up before you start driving it. For me though, with these engines, the tolerances, and this is why you have to replace the rod bearings, is because the tolerances are so slim, then I get a lot of oil in between the connecting rod and the bearings. So you've got to let the engine warm up to get oil flowing through there, especially before you start revving it. I'm going to put on the screen my latest oil analysis report so you can actually see just how good the results are. It was hard for me to know. I felt like I was playing with a ticking time bomb. Never knew exactly when these bearings were going to go. But once I did the job, or I paid EAS to do the job, I look at the results. I'm like, I could have gone another 20, 40,000 miles, probably with no concern. Let's take a look. These are the originals. I've cleaned them up, you wiped them down rather, and you can see just how little wear there really is for 80,000 miles. I'm very surprised, very happy. But now that I've got these BE bearings, which everybody says is the best to replace with, I've got peace of mind. I'll know that they will not need to be replaced. Not until I probably rebuild the motor. And like I said, there's piston, or the fourth connecting rod. You can see that's really the only one that had unusual looking wear. But I think it could have gone much longer. If you've got an M3 and everybody's worried about replacing connecting rod bearings, if you have religiously changed the oil between 5 and 7,500 miles and you let your engine properly warm up before you rev it, you should be okay to go, I'd say, at least 100,000 miles. But disclaimer, this is just Robb's opinion. Don't try to sue me if your engine blows. Instead of doing the rod bearings myself, I paid EAS to do it. They did a fantastic job. The cars run great. I've already taken it on the track once. Smooth, acceleration, no problems, no vibrations, no funny business. And while they were replacing the rod bearings, I took my little kids to Disneyland instead. So check out some advice I have for the Radiator Springs Raceway ride. It's not nearly as fun as being on the racetrack, but hey, if you're got to take your kids, here's some advice.
Radiator Springs Racers is the premier ride of the Cars Land section in Disney's California Adventure theme park, located adjacent to Disneyland in Anaheim, California. If you've never been there before, Carsland is a replica of the town featured in the classic Pixar movie Cars. It's really quite a scene. Every time I've gone to Carsland since it opened just over 10 years ago, the Radiator Springs Racers line has been long. Given its age and the competing new rides have been built in recent years, I figured the line wouldn't be so bad this trip, especially considering we went on a Thursday in February. But I was wrong. The line was 95 minutes. I'm sorry, but no theme park ride is worth 95 minutes of waiting. If you want to ride Radiator Springs Racers, here's 3 ways to bypass the standard line.
Olivia, excited?
First, consider booking lodging at Disney's Grand California Hotel. Staying on property enables you to enter the park an hour before general admission, thus making it easier to get on the ride early before everyone else. Caution, it's very expensive. So secondly, you can do what I did and purchase a Lightning Lane pass via Disney's Genie Plus mobile app. The pass cost varies by demand, but on the day of our visit it was $15 per person. With this pass, we were able to walk nearly to the front of the line and only waited 5 to 10 minutes. Alternatively, if your party is willing to risk riding in different cars, then enter the single rider line. My teenage daughter did this and was only in line for 10 minutes. And finally, a bonus tip. If your party includes 2 adults and children both over and under the 40-inch minimum height requirement, then my condolences and best of luck for the rest of your day. However, there's an advantage to having young children.
You ready to race?
We're racing now!
Let's beat them.
You see, adults can utilize the rider swap option, which means one adult takes the older children while the other stays with the younger children. When they're done with the ride, the second adult can go on the ride without having to stand in line again. The benefit of this bonus is that the older children can go on the ride twice, once with each adult.
You like that?
Yeah, I want to go again.
So that's Robb's advice for replacing rod bearings on your BMW. Take it to an expert like European Auto Source in Anaheim, California. They'll spend 2 days replacing the rod bearings for you at a reasonable labor cost, while you can spend a fortune with your family at Disneyland. But hopefully my advice on this particular ride will make your day just a little bit more enjoyable. And as promised earlier, here's a copy of my last Blackstone oil analysis report. You can see I'm running higher than benchmark and aluminum, which is to suggest that the rod bearings are wearing, but how bad were they wearing? You can't tell until you actually replace them. I'm also running high on lead, but that's because right before changing this oil, I did a track day with 101 unleaded fuel, so nothing to be worried there. I think this oil report is a testament to how important it is to change your oil every 5 to 7,500 miles. And that's a wrap here from Robb's Garage. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on down the road.